What is going on, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing people? Welcome back to another episode of Taking a Risk. I'm back at my favorite machine. Oh, I just noticed somebody did horrible. They lost it all evenly. But they may have only came and put $1, and that's always a possibility as well. So I'm going to start with my usual 100, 150. Let's get it going. Feeling lucky today. And right off the rip. Oh, who keeps changing that? Monkey monsters, man. Oof. Gets under my skin when that doesn't say cash now. I don't know why. Went for so long not knowing about that. Now it just... Somebody likes it saying credit. Wonder if that's like a normal... I don't know. Maybe I'm the weird one, right? I'm more than likely the weird one. Hope everybody's feeling well, of course. The weather's getting colder, of course, here in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it's probably really nice and warm. Should probably look into that. Decent looking jackpots. Of course, the platinums are lower today than I remember. Golds are about, I think those are actually lower too. But the silver and bronze, which are the two I care about the most because those are the best odds for me. Especially that bronze. Both of those are looking awesome. Especially my guy on the right side. Oh yeah. That's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for that 225. My money bone is feeling something. I don't know if it's getting sick or what, but there's definitely a tingling in the money bone. And a lot of people are getting sick, now that I think about it. The virus is still around, of course, and it's mutating, as they like to say. It's developing into new strains. And I was talking to my mom the other day, and oh man, I've never heard her sound so sick and panicked. Because she just got her shots. She just got the shots, and I'm pretty sure that's what made her sick, which is why I never get the flu shot, because every time I've gotten the flu shot, I've always gotten the flu. And this has to be it. I just sat down. Oh, man. But, back to what I was saying, every time I've gotten the flu shot, I get the flu. There's some years I can go without getting the flu. I think my immune system is pretty good at defending itself. And not getting the flu. I think I honestly cannot remember a year where I got the flu without getting the flu shot. It's been that long. Nice, 2 nice wins back to back. And so she called me, voice was so weak, she was crying, she was so panicked because she just got the shot. She was so nervous that was... she thinks she has the coronavirus now because of the shot. And she didn't get her second shot, which I stopped looking into it a long time ago because I wasn't interested anymore as to why there's so many shots. Oh, please stop teasing me. I just got here. Oh! But, yeah, I stopped looking into it. I keep seeing, of course, on Facebook and even on YouTube, like people are getting like 5 or 6 shots. It's up to that amount now on through some companies, and that's absolutely ridiculous to me. But of course I understand there's different strains and different versions of the virus coming out, so they're constantly trying to get ahead of that and adapt before it happens so that you can be protected. Of course, that's what a vaccine is supposed to do. It's supposed to protect you. It's supposed to help your body build up the proper immune system, the immunities, so that you do not get sick. But I hear a lot of people are actually getting sick from the vaccine, and actually some people have passed away after getting the vaccine. So, I mean, you do what you want with your own body. I'm not going to persuade you one way or another. If you feel safe for getting it, please don't hesitate. If you don't want to get it, that is your right. I am on that side of the fence. I do not care to get it because, once again, oh, that's not a bad win. 372, what a weird number. I am definitely the type that I'd rather take my chances. My immune system has always been pretty decent. There's another nice one with the queens. Take it. The way she just sounded, and of course I'm talking about my mom again, was just so panicked, and she never wanted to take the vaccine, but the reason she had to is because she's traveling. Her, Jeremy, my sister, my brother, and my aunts, and I think my cousins are all going to Egypt next month. And of course, a lot of people know that it's a requirement to fly. You have to have the vaccine, but we also just found out, and I'm talking about found out like 2 days ago, that you don't have to. So if anybody's out there that's nervous about traveling because you think you have to get the vaccine, listen up. we found out that once you get to the airport and you don't have your vaccine, you can still travel. I don't know if this is true for anywhere else, like any other forms of transportation. I don't know if they require it, like a bus or boat or something like that. But it turns out that you can actually pay them. I don't know if it's at the airport. I'm pretty sure it's at the airport. The test that I was told is $150. While you're at the airport, you take a test, COVID test, and if you are negative, obviously you can travel. If you're positive, then you're probably not going to be allowed to travel, and they're probably going to have you leave immediately. So, if you are traveling, or you'd like to travel, but you do not want to get the vaccine, I have been told that you can take a test while you're at the airport, and from what I was told, the test is $150. Which, if you're nervous to get the vaccine, I think that's a pretty decent alternative. The price is, of course, a little high, which they do that on purpose, but I think it's a pretty good alternative to not wanting to take that shot, just in case. And I'm in the category, now that I think about it, I was one of the people that got the coronavirus before it was the coronavirus, before we knew what it was. Well, at least here in the US, before it was a widespread pandemic. I got it at the end of 2019. So like November, December, and I actually do have a few videos that came out at that time, even alive, where I was sick. And you could see I was sick. I had a blanket on me and everything, and I tried to do the live, and it just didn't work out. I ended up feeling too weak sometime in between starting and finishing, and I just couldn't make it. Nice, there's a decent win with the 10s and the times 10. Oh, and the jack and the 10 pay, that silly 10 pay. And now I say that with confidence that I think I had the coronavirus back then, because this was the worst, absolute worst flu I've ever had. And the longer I've gone without thinking about it, the more I've forgotten a little bit how I felt, but I do remember the cough. Nice, there's a nice win. The cough was neither dry nor wet. It was just a cough that was so persistent, and it would cause it was like a coughing fit of normal coughs, and it was so bad that it would take my breath away. Couldn't breathe. I would be coughing so hard that I could not inhale. It would be nothing but exhales, but the coughs themselves did not hurt. The part that hurt was not being able to breathe, and then the constriction of, just all the air leaving my lungs, the way that feels, the way it crumples your body in, if you know what I'm talking about. Coughing so much that your body just curls in on itself. That's where the pain was. And then the vomiting. I do remember the vomiting. It was the worst, absolute worst, because what would happen during the vomiting, sorry if this is a little graphic, probably should have mentioned that before going into it, but oh, there's a nice big win. Thank goodness. I'm getting low on that first 100. Not doing too well. But what would happen is I would have these coughing fits where I could not inhale. I'd have brief split seconds to take as much air in as I could, and it would all just come right back out. And then I wouldn't be able to get any more in. But what would happen is during these coughing fits, I would, I'm going to say gag, pretty much. It would cause me to go into that position and right away. So while I'm coughing, trying to inhale as fast as I can, I would have to throw up. And anybody who's been in that situation or can even think of how that feels, it's almost like being underwater. Oh, come on, I need that money. So what would happen is there would be whatever coming up. I wasn't eating, so it was probably Gatorade or water, if I was even able to keep that down, or a cracker or some chicken soup. That would be in my mouth while I was trying to inhale. So I'm coughing, in between coughing, throwing up, and inhaling. It was not working out. It was terrible, terrible, terrible. And I just remember feeling like death, pretty much. I was the weakest I think I've ever felt while still being awake. You know what I mean? It was just absolutely crazy. Could not get warm. My insides, I felt like I was burning up on the core of my body, just right in the pit. And then my complete everything else was just freezing. So it was such a strange, odd feeling. And once again, it was before we knew it was the coronavirus. It was before we knew there was anything serious out there. And then, a few months later we found out, and I was like, oh man, that's definitely what I must have had. And I'm not the type to quickly run to, the ER or the emergency room, or even the urgent care. We have those or it's not necessarily an emergency, but you do need to see somebody. So like, let's say you like break your toe, you don't have to run to the emergency room, you can go to the urgent care, which is less of an emergency, but still urgent. It's the best way to put it. It's almost self-explanatory, but I feel like I should explain what it is. In case there's people out there who are like, urgent care? Yeah, it's a nice little place to avoid going to the emergency room. The emergency room, I would say, like, if you got shot, you should run to the emergency room. If you're having a heart attack, go to the emergency room. If you're almost gonna die, go to the emergency room. But urgent care is more for things that can not necessarily are not emergencies, but they can wait. Like I said, a broken toe, broken finger, broken hand, stuff like that. Not necessarily emergencies. They're not life-threatening. There we go. Took me a million words to say urgent care is for things that are not life-threatening. So now my mom has it, and I was over at George and Jeremy's helping Jeremy the other day right before his surgery, helping him move stuff around, getting the place organized because he's going to be out of commission for a few weeks. And she called my sister, and I just happened to be by the phone listening to her, and oh man, I felt so bad, and I started coaching her on what to do, because me and George both had the virus at some point. I think actually George got it again. I don't think I have. I think I've been lucky enough to avoid getting it again, because like I said, my body has been pretty good, as far as I know, at building up immunities towards things, and of course with the different strains that came out, you never know. But as far as the regular coronavirus, or maybe I got one of the crazy strains beforehand, maybe that's why I've been lucky enough to not get it again. But I have not gotten the coronavirus again, but I have had it, I'm pretty sure. I have taken several tests since then, just because, you have to nowadays, and all of my tests have come back negative. And even I've been around people who have had the coronavirus, tested positive, and I still have not gotten it again. And one of those people was my daughter Evelyn. She had the coronavirus a while back, and she was the only one in the household that got it. But she didn't show the symptoms that I showed. Thank goodness. I would have been freaking out if she would have. She got the very mild version of it. She just had a little bit of loose bowels and stuff like that. Some fun time talking about loose bowels at the slots, and I ran out of money. Holy moly. Let's go ahead and put that second 100 in. Wow, that was fast. That hasn't happened in a while. Goodness gracious, talking about this coronavirus, and the machine's like, no thank you. Let me just eat all your money. But I do think that's pretty cool that they offer the alternative to taking the vaccines if you want to travel. I do think it's a little ridiculous that it's $150, because there's tests out there that are definitely not worth $150 that'll still give you the same results. But these are, I'm going to assume, oh, come on! Right away with the huge 10 times 10 super real jackpot. Of course, it's only $30, but that's still awesome. That's a first. That's a big, big first. Wow, right off the rip. Right off the rip. Good thing I kept going, man. Alright. But yes, as I was saying, I don't think the test is necessarily worth that much. Of course, they're probably making a decent profit on it. With, it's almost, I don't like that they're forcing people to do a lot of stuff. And I know there's people out there who are going to argue that it's for everybody's safety, but we do live in a country where you get to choose what you put in your body, and you just never know. You just never know. It does lead into a lot of conspiracies, which I'm not going to get into, even though I want to. I think it's very, very suspicious. That's all I'd like to say. Very suspicious on how they're trying to force people to take a vaccine that's not mandatory. It's voluntary, but they're trying to make it mandatory, but it is a vaccine. And the pandemic is really not as bad as they say it is, or they're leading you to believe, and it's a lot of scare tactics is going on, and people are eating it up left and right. And then you have the other people who are fighting against it, and they're getting a lot of ridicule, and it's really crazy what's going on. A pandemic that's not necessarily a pandemic. The government's kind of just doing things the way they want to. For whatever reasons they're doing it, that's up to you to decide. If you look at a lot of the stuff that has happened because of this pandemic, you'll notice there's a lot of suspicious behavior. So I'm on the fence of suspicious behavior. There's a lot of weird stuff going on that I think the government's doing a lot more than they need to add into their power and control, which I hate to say because they're supposed to be here for us, but anybody that's lived in the United States since like the 1900s know that the government is not necessarily on your side all the time. They are a business, believe it or not. It's hard to view it that way, but the government is a business. It's not. They're for profit. They're very much so for profit. So they're gonna do whatever makes them money. They do not want to be poor. Nobody wants to be poor, but they definitely don't want to be poor. There's a nice big win. Hey, 1245. That's my old address. Love it. That's gonna be a good sign. Things are gonna turn around here in a second. There we go. And of course, if you guys watched Jeremy and George's live from last night, of course, that's Wednesday nights, in case this doesn't come out when it's supposed to. He talked about what happened to him the day before his surgery, so while we were helping him move his stuff around. It was absolutely crazy what happened. He ended up tearing something, and he was nervous it was going to impede his surgery, which he got, but I don't think it did, which is great. Everything worked out fantastically, thank goodness. But it was a scary moment. Jeremy did take a tumble from a place you should not tumble from, and he was injured, but the man is built like an ox. He kept going. We all kept going. Of course, I was nervous that something else was going to happen, but when you have enough people around you that are helping you get through something, come on, it makes it a lot easier to get through it. So, oh, please let me get out of here. Oh, yes! 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 Oh my goodness, a double jackpot! A double! I better keep my voice down. Oh my goodness! That has got to be some type of good luck charm. I instantly start talking about Jeremy and George, and I hit the big silver jackpot! Yes! This is absolutely incredible. Oh my god, look at that. It's going up, up, up. Good thing I did not stop after completely draining that first 100 immediately. Oh my goodness. How absolutely nuts. There is no way. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I think I get a hand pay. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be absolutely epic. Wow. I am so happy I came today. Oh my goodness. The additional $226 from the bronze is so cool. But that silver is absolutely nuts. That is insane. It's done. Oh my goodness. I have to instantly get a hand pay. Oh wow. Alright folks, I'm going to take this and I'm going to get out of here. I will see you in the next video. You folks have a good one.